Prep yourself before you wreck yourself. Yes, the foundation of the mothership of nails is prep. If you got popping, peeling nails, then you want to check out this tutorial because we don't want none of that. Let's get into perfect prep. Right, so we're removing nails. When do you remove gel nails? Well, that's going to depend on your service, but I am a believer when they start to chip or when they start to lift, that is when the nail, you got to take it off. The reason that you want to get them off when they are starting to lift is A, they're going to break, and let's be honest, you're going to start chewing them, and that means you're going to bust a tooth, and your nail appointment is not going to be even half the price of what your dental appointment is. I feel like I've been there, done that. Maybe not. Anyways, so when they start to lift, so structured manicures, you're usually like at about 4 weeks. But the biggest thing is, you guys, bacteria is gonna love getting in between where the nail is lifted in your nail plate. So we want to be very sure that we are not introducing any kind of infection, okay? Busted nails gotta go. Busted nails gotta go. Yeah, that's what I meant to say. Gel nails are not hard to remove if you have the right equipment, tools, and of course education. Like you can do it at home with acetone, or a lot of salons will use what I'm doing right now is an e-file. And the biggest reason for that is acetone. I don't got beef with an e-file. I don't have any beef with acetone. It's when you put them in acetone too long. The biggest thing of what you're gonna see me doing and why I prefer using an e-file is because I don't wanna over prep this growth area. If I took the product all the way off, like here, that means every time this nail grows and she comes for a 3-week appointment, I'm prepping that regrowth. So by the time this growth comes all the way out here, it'll have been prepped maybe 1, 2, 3, 4 times, which is going to weaken and make the nail more brittle. And here at Erica's, we're all about the integrity of the nail. So if I just remove all the color and any lifting, I'm able to nicely reapply product and only have to prep 1 time right there. So when it comes to removing gel, I'm a big fan of removing all of the color because I want to see what's happening to my client's nail underneath, okay? I'm looking for greenies, I'm looking for any discoloration. Whether the color is light or dark, I am taking it all the way down so I can see the natural nail and see what my next steps are as a nail technician. If you touch this to it, depends how fast and how much pressure. You want to be very gentle when you're using carbides. The biggest thing that is misunderstood is people think if I slow my e-file down, it's safer. That couldn't be more wrong. Carbide needs speed. You want to feel like the e-file is just gliding over the product, all right? When you feel like it's catching, that is actually when your tool becomes a weapon. When in doubt, increase your speed. So I'm working with the Gel X bit, and I'm running at least over 25,000 RPMs. These little teeth that might kind of look intimidating, but to me, they are money because I got to get off the product quick so that I can get the product back on. So my money teeth, it does make a difference of how the teeth are fluted. We want them to go in the same direction. And because of that, that is why I'm a fan of you're either a righty or a lefty. You'll notice when I'm doing my removal, I'm never rocking the bit back and forth because just like a butter knife, we don't cut with the backside of it. It's not functional. So a dual cutting bit is going to have marks on each side, but if I rub my e-file back and forth like this, I'm creating what? Heat. Do clients want to feel the heat? No. So I cut in one direction. Whether you're using the dragging method, which is my preference, or the rock and roll, I'm always picking up the bit once I get to the other side. Never rocking because I don't want to create that discomfort and that heat, which is usually done with rocking your tool back and forth. Hey nail techs, level up your manicures with professional nail bits and implements from Erica's ATA. We have everything you need from tools to gels. Check out the links below. All right, so after I go in with my carbide, when you get close, and that's the great thing is like carbide around live tissue, it's gonna tear. It's great for removing, but it can catch. So carbides can catch on that free edge. That's why I'm gonna go right here with a sanding band because sanding band's gonna be more of a scratching. Just like our diamond bits, just a little scratchy, just like that. If you want to shape and you are a little concerned about it catching, you can always use your diamond. There's no blades, there's no catch, okay? Don't give up on your carbides, all right? You need the carbide to remove quickly, but your sanding band is gonna go in where you're like, oh dude, that's really thin right there, but I gotta remove that lifting because if I don't, guess what, honey, is gonna lift some more. We don't want that. We want to prevent that. Lefties, I see and I hear you. Because you know what? Usually when you're shopping, if it's not labeled lefty, that means it's a righty. That's not the bit for you. But check out our website at ericasata.com, and in the little search field, type in lefty. Is going to pop up all of our carbide lefties that are made just for you. So what we have here is we have some beautiful overlay, but we busted her. It happens. Holiday shopping, all the things that life brings to you. So we put on a plastic tip, but through that tip there has been some lifting, so it's going to be extremely important to make sure I get as much of that lifting off as I can. If you're like, man, the nail is really, maybe the nail's already really weak and brittle, don't feel comfortable filing anymore because maybe the nail is super brittle, that is when we can use our acetone and a cotton ball, a little bit of foil, and before you know it, that little tip, it's going to start to become like really gummy when it's time to remove, all right? You don't want to add a lot of force. Allow the acetone to break down the product so that you don't overfile. So there are multiple ways to do removal, right? We discussed that you can use an e-file, you can use acetone, but what happens if you're at home? The most damage that you're gonna do is this right here. And you get in the car, or you have one of those angsty moments, and you bite them all off. That is going to be the most damage, okay? So if you're at home and you're like, hey, I gotta get these nails off, and you are not gonna use your teeth, I commend you for that, is you are going to have to first break the seal of that top coat. You know what? Sanding bands are underrated. They have their place, and I'm gonna love them, especially if our client has like oily nail plate, or if you don't feel as confident with the carbide and you're like, oh, I gotta get into that lateral fold coat. Don't be hating on sanding bands. They have a place. And the reason I say that is because when you have clients that just need a little more rough, not the buff, but the rough, sanding band is your go-to. Even like our medium diamond is just a little too soft. What I'm doing right now is I am opening up that proximal fold area. It just kind of saves me a step. You guys, sanding bands are devalued. The number one thing with working with a sanding band is know that it is more aggressive, so turn your speed down. You're almost running it to the point where it's a little bit uncomfortable for your client because it's like catching, but if you turn it up, you will remove way too much of the nail plate. See how I'm just barely roughing it up like that, opening up the proximal fold, and I'm gonna run right over that nail plate. So how I like to do my prep is I'm always going to do it dry, and I like to start off on the right side and start to centralize my movement. The reason for that is I want to make sure I don't miss any shiny spots. The key to beautiful nails is that they stay on, which means prep is a priority, okay? So check this out. Here I have my beautiful nail. I'm at 4,000 RPMs or lower, and I'm just trying to first kind of open up that cuticle area. Gently, gently, gently prepping the regrowth area and then working down the nail, just like that. Right there, do you see any shine? No, it's because I'm in a controlled space. I'm not rubbing the e-file all over the nail plate. Again, controlled. I see that it's all white and chalky. I'm not going over the nail like this and realizing that I'm falling off the nail. I want to make sure I hit all the areas to rough the nail up. And a lot of times we see lifting in the lateral fold area or even in the sinus area. The reason for that is we haven't got our tool close enough to that area because we're rocking back and forth and we're not in control. Therefore, we don't want to get close to live tissue. It's really important when you're doing your prep that you are roughing and not buffing. Also, it's important that you're keeping your bit flat and moving down the nail. You never, even with lifting, want to tap it out like this where you're actually going right into the nail plate. What's going to happen then is you're going to get rings of fire. Now, if you've seen that on your client's nails and you're like, wait, what is that? There's a lot of factors to rings of fire. It could be inappropriate angle, it could be too much speed, or it could be too much pressure. Remember, speed does the work, but with sanding bands and when we're on that natural nail plate, we're just scratching it very, very gentle. All right. Now, since I just did her removal, it was easy for me to go right in with the sanding band because I was also blending any of the lifted product with the nail plate because we just wanted a better bondage, right? It's all about beautiful prep. I'm not one to say perfect nails, but I am one to say get really close to perfect prep, all right? Because we don't want those nails to come off. It's worth spending the time to make sure that your prep is done right. And the reason for that, you can spend all this time on art and products. If the adhesion's not staying on for a timely manner, you're going to lose your clients. Now, some of that can be product, but honestly, there's a lot of great products on the market. Usually, if you feel like you're getting premature lifting on majority of your clients, it is a prep issue, not a product. If you have a few clients where they have more lifting than others, that's when I would just encourage you to try different products. Everybody's lifestyle, their natural biology, how they're taking to a product can be different. Some nails are more rigid, so they need a different type of viscosity. Some are more weak or damaged, and those are all going to be factors that can contribute to lifting. But above all else, product needs a rough surface or a sticky surface to bond to. So what I'm trying to do right now is to rough up that surface and also remove the dead cuticle. Now, the big question is, how long should prepping the nail take? Ooh, this is great. That's also going to depend on what you consider prepping is. Is that free edge shaping? Is that part of your removal? I want to say if there is a time to spend a little more extra time, it is in your prep to ensure that that product's going to stay on. I would say about 20 minutes would be appropriate, and that can be including the free edge shaping, that can be including cuticle work, but across the board between about 15 to 20 minutes is usually where people lie. Now, granted, I know some of you in the comments are going to tell me it's more or less. You do you. Not everybody wants that very high-end 2-hour service structured gel manicure. Some of you are still just doing gel manicure in 35 minutes. There's so many variables, so let's hear that you do you, but we want to make sure we're spending some time here so we don't have premature lifting. Let's keep going. All right, I love my clients' cuticles. They are so easy. They're nice and dry where they need to be, so it's just flaking right off. I decided to use the micro taper, and I'm running at 11,000 RPMs. I start off in my forward direction and work down the left, and then now I switch it over to the reverse, where I'm just sweeping that cuticle and back rolling. Opening up that pocket so that I can nicely just tuck a little bit of product, because girlfriend knows we like our nail to grow out looking like, yes, my nail actually was purple or green. But also make sure that no matter what product you're putting on the nail plate, that light is able to penetrate and fully cure the product. My model today has absolutely beautiful nails. She gets her nails done every 3 weeks. This is an easy removal that I can do in under 10 minutes. I do the prep work and the cuticle work. That was all under probably 10 minutes because she comes regularly. She's got easy cuticles. Don't complicate it. I don't need more things, more bits. She has a busy life. The best thing that I can give her is beautiful looking nails and give her time back to do all the other things that she's passionate about. Don't complicate it. Don't hyperfixate. Pretty nails, that's the way to do it. You made it to the end of the video. I hope you check out the other videos that I also offer. I showed you how to remove, how to prep, and how to do her cuticle work. That was a dream client. And the great thing is she loves her nails and it's way less work on my part. With the right education and the right tools, we are the dream team. Hey, if you guys like content like this and you made it to the end, go ahead, like and subscribe so we can continue to make content that is going to make you more money. Nails don't need to be complicated. They can be pretty and profitable. Let's go.